fast.
Oh, I see. Oops, I went black again. I can't tell what I'm doing.
I know. Don't worry about it. Look at that.
Bunch of historic signs. Grassy Spring Christian Church. This is pretty. Hope I'm capturing it. Rock Ridge. So what is this?
It's pretty beautiful back here.
Yeah.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Kentucky 1659 North.
It says 1 minute.
Yeah, maybe those buildings there. And then you have that. Woodford Reserve Distillery, turn right.
Take the next right onto Kentucky 1659 North. In a quarter mile, your destination will be on the left.
So you got a different view, please.
Private drive.
Your destination is on the left.
There we go. Oh, I remember this, yeah.
Exit hallway.
Visitor Center.
Straight ahead. Okay. Looks like plenty of parking. Visitor check-in. Oh, there's a building up there. Ooh, get that building. If you can.
Definition of bourbon. So, give me a bourbon. Well, first remember this phrase. All bourbon. Distiller's mold. It's perfectly harmless to me and you, but it thrives on the ethanol in the air.
Oh, okay.
So every distillery.
We're gonna have that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
16.
So how about this aroma? So nice. I want you to tag this in your memory because I promise you, can all but guarantee the next time you're sitting at home enjoying a glass of Woodford Reserve, it will magically transport you right back here because this is what your glass smells like. If y'all want to come a little closer this way, we can kind of backfill. There's better light. I've got some visual aids here. So, here's where we're maturing our whiskey, maturing our barrels. There's a couple of factors that really help build the flavor in these barrels and into the whiskey. So, first off, fun thing about oak is that these barrels are definitely watertight, or for our sake, whiskey tight, but they're not airtight. Air will travel through the wood, through the joints between the staves, through that little hole on top, we call it the bung hole. There's a little wooden disc that gets hammered in to seal it called a bung. And what happens is the air will just travel through. So what we're smelling right now is evaporation literally coming right out of the barrel. It's mainly water. The proof is going to increase over time. The barrels, when we dump them out, can be anywhere from 115 to 140 proof, but it goes in at 110. I'll circle back on that later. But another thing that helps build the flavor is the temperature change that we experience throughout the year. So, if you haven't been here, Kentucky summers get really hot. Our winters get rather cold as well. And it's that temperature fluctuation that really lets us build flavor. So in the heat of the summer, these barrels, they get really, really hot. The wood expands, opening up the grain of the wood, allowing the spirit inside the barrel, which is also expanding, to press deep into the wood. So, got an old barrel stave here. Do y'all see this kind of brownish, reddish looking line? We call this the spirit line. And this is how far into the wood that whiskey has pressed through maturation. I mean, well over halfway through. The toasting process allows it to go, you know, kind of deeper cross section, if you will. I mean, hell, over here, it's gone all the way through, you know? So I can pass this around, be more than happy to. There is a strong urge to smell it. It's seen about 1 million noses, so you don't want to put your nose on it. But also, that's a great example of the char level of our barrels. I often get asked, you know, what number char do we use? Because we have our own cooperage, we just say, hey, can we get some Woodford Reserve barrels? And they send us exactly what they want. The other guys, they're ordering from a second party, so they have to order a specific number. If you wanted to put a number to it, we're about a 3.5. So if you're on another distillery.
What's the evaporation rate then?
Yeah,
for the life?
Gosh, look how
So
thick that
for
is.
the life of our barrels, roughly a third. Rule of thumb, 3 to 5% per year. Yep. So quite a bit, really. So in the heat of the summer, that whiskey is pushing deep into the wood, but as it cools down, it's being drawn back out of the wood into the center of the barrel. Once that liquid hits about 65 degrees, it all has been basically squeezed out of the wood and is sitting in the middle of the barrel. So what do we do here? We're going to turn up the heat. So these 24-inch thick walls, that does a great job of keeping the heat in. So if you look below you, and you all should be able to see them over there as well, but we've got some pipes that run through. Using the same steam heat that we use to fire the stills, we heat this warehouse up to 90 degrees.
In the winter?
In the winter time. 2, 3, maybe even 4 times. Get the liquid in the barrel up to 90 degrees, turn off the heat, open the doors, let it cool down. Once it gets that 65-degree mark, turn it back up. Every winter, we're able to steam cycle 2, 3, maybe even 4 times. Basically mimicking the change of the season every single winter, a couple of times. Building layers of flavor. So the barrels will sit in here for 5 to 9 years.
Do they rotate?
We do not rotate the barrels. That steam cycling helps it out because your whiskey is going to mature depending on its elevation inside a warehouse, because we all know heat rises,
Yeah.
but the steam cycling, that helps the barrels down below. So the ones on the bottom next to the steam pipes and the ones up top, they're on the shorter side of that 5 to 9 year range, typically 5, 6, maybe 7 years. The ones in the middle, they take a little bit longer, so they're on the higher side of that, 7, 8, 9 years, maybe even longer than that. It's when they hit our flavor profile is when we pull those barrels out. So what we'll do, once they've hit that flavor profile, and discovering the flavor profile, you know, there's a romantic idea that the master distiller, Chris Morris or Elizabeth McCall, our assistant master distiller, are going through, drilling a little hole, taking a sample out of every barrel. Logistically speaking, though, there are 5,000 barrels in this warehouse. The warehouse is up on top of the hill. There are 4 of them. They each house 65,000 barrels. We have 12 more. They're in different phases of construction, but in Midway, Kentucky, they each hold 65,000 barrels apiece. So again, logistically speaking, that's a lot of samples to be taken. So the industry in general has gone to what's called warehouse mapping. We've been doing this long enough to where we know what sections of each warehouse are going to produce to our flavor profile in a given amount of time. So once they've hit that mark, we will take about 120 to 140 barrels, that range because of the evaporation. We then will batch them together, filter it, gauge it down to 90.4 proof, sample it there. If we have to add some more barrels that we know that are, you know, either sweeter or more oaky or smoky or spicier, we'll add them at that point to hit that flavor profile. And from there, ready for the bottle. Or it could go into a second barrel. Has anybody ever had our double oaked bourbon before?
Yes.
Couple.
It's my favorite.
Like 4 of you, 5 of you. That's not very many at all. It is available across the street at our cocktail bar. Unfortunately, we're not tasting it today.
Oh.
I would fly blind into that bourbon though and pick up a bottle. I can all but guarantee you're going to love it. If you don't like it, by all means, bring it back. I will gladly take it off your hands. Right? Yeah. Nobody's ever taken me up on that. So what we do for our double oaked bourbon, there's 2 barrels involved, hence double oaked. So we take the fully filtered, fully gauged down to 90.4 proof bourbon that's been in the barrel for 5 to 9 years, and we put it into a second barrel. Now that second barrel, super different. We kind of flipped the script from that first barrel. First barrel was toasted for 10 minutes, charred for 25 seconds. Second barrel is toasted for 45 minutes and then flash charred for just 5 seconds. So part of that toasting, it's also drawing the natural wood sugars of the oak to the surface of the interior of the barrel. Flash charring basically caramelizes those wood sugars. So it comes out and it is pepper mash in bourbon barrels. Yep. So huge, long second life. We happen to have a wide array of culinary options in our gift shop of different spices and honey and coffee and stuff that has been aged in bourbon barrels. So.